I'm going to put myself in the student's shoes real quick. Let's say I'm struggling with anxiety or depression or just needing somebody to talk to. What do they do? How do they get into your office?
So the answer to that question is easy peasy. There is a website, williamsbu.edu/counseling. Just go to that website, hit a button, and it says request a consultation with Taylor. And they fill out a really brief form on there, and then I contact the student or faculty member or staff member or whoever's reaching out, and we just set up a time. It's that easy.
Okay, so a student reaches out to you. What's that first meeting? Well, what's that look like?
Super informal. I just sit across from the student and listen to their story, hear what's going on in their world right now and what led them to reach out for help. I mean, I work with the student to help them explore the resources that they need the most. If that is ongoing psychotherapy, I can provide that. So EMDR mimics REM sleep. Okay, so that's the stage of sleep whenever your brain naturally processes memories, emotions, experiences, all of that. When you're asleep, your eyes underneath your eyelids will dart back and forth. And I know that that's crazy, but EMDR mimics that while you're awake and alert, applying that bilateral stimulation. And most of the time it's eye movements back and forth. And so doing that, we focus attention to a specific memory, and the brain is like, oh, I know what to do now, because it does that every night when you sleep, right? So it's like, oh, I know what we're doing. And so then it reprocesses that specific memory, and we integrate that memory so it loses its emotional charge. It changes how the memory is stored and how that memory affects you. So it's cool because it can make things like nightmares, flashbacks, panic attacks, it can make all of those distressing symptoms that are consistent with PTSD, it can turn the volume down on those or make them go away. When they come back for the next session, they report change, they report less impairment.
I've never seen this in a movie though. Probably right. This is kind of a rare form of treatment.
I don't know. I don't know that it's rare. I don't know how to speak to that necessarily, but it is one of two premier treatments that most doctors recommend to treat trauma. I think on a small campus specifically, you don't want to feel like everybody knows your business or feel insecure, sure, for reaching out for help. It's a brave thing, I think, to reach out for help. And so I just want to honor that by protecting the student's privacy. That's important to me personally, but professionally, I abide by a code of ethics that requires that. Primarily, my foundation is called person-centered. Really what that means is the client, I believe, is the expert of their own life. I'm not there to therapy juke someone or tell them how to live or even give advice. That is not my primary role. I like to learn a lot. I like to be curious, not judgmental, and I follow the client's lead. I also believe that the relationship itself, the therapeutic relationship itself, is just really healing in nature. And so, yes, the interventions help, the skills help, all of those things that I bring to the table are super helpful and necessary. But just having a person to sit, another human sit across from you who can validate you, understand you, express empathy and support you, who's in your corner no matter what, without judgment, that is super healing in and of itself. And that is what my foundation for practicing counseling is.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Season 7 of the Williams Pulse podcast. We are in the studio today with Taylor Jeffrey. Taylor, where were you 13 years ago today?
I was getting married to you.
I was getting married to you too. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
But let me take the husband hat off for a second and let me put on my curious hat.
Sounds good.
You started back in December working here. Tell us about what's your title?
I am a university counselor here on campus, and I offer mental health counseling for faculty, staff, and students.
So can I come to you for counseling?
No, you cannot because we're married.
Okay, just conflict of interest. But any other staff member, faculty member,
yes,
student
absolutely,
can come to you free of charge to them, and they can get professional support?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So just tell me about your education.
So I graduated from Williams in 2012 with a bachelor's in psychology, and then I went on to graduate school. I went to seminary, Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, and got kind of a dual education. It had like a biblical framework for a clinical counseling license, if that makes sense. So I completed my master's in counseling in 2021 and then got licensed with the state of Arkansas to be a counselor.
You graduated from here, you went to graduate school, and then you got licensed in the state of Arkansas to practice therapy. Like what all settings have you worked in?
So I initially started out in community mental health and did everything under the sun. It feels like I worked with severely mentally ill populations. I worked on the crisis team. So I did that. I did community mental health, which was a lot in and of itself. But then I transitioned to private practice and worked in kind of a smaller clinic setting in private practice.
So you work in community mental health, and then you went into private practice, and then now you're at Williams. Mm-hmm. So how did you get back here?
Well, honestly, this kind of was like a dream job. When I was in grad school, I did an internship with Anita Cooper, who was the director of counseling service at the time here on campus. And so even from like when I was still in school, like this was something that I kind of had my eye on in terms of just it being part of my education experience. And then I remember after I graduated, there's a period of time that you kind of have to work in a big clinic setting like where I went, because you have to get thousands of hours to become fully licensed. So I had to do that path, but I always kind of had this dream, I guess, of one day coming back to Williams and serving as in this capacity. And then one day I got a call from Luke Cawley that, there had been some mental health concerns on campus and they needed a qualified licensed therapist to come join the team. So I was honored when I got that call and super excited to kind of explore that with, Laquita, our Dean of Students, and even Dr. Norman and other staff members here on campus. And anyway, just kind of all fell into place, and here I am.
I'm going to put myself in the student's shoes real quick. Okay, let's say I'm struggling with anxiety or depression or just needing somebody to talk to. What do they do? How do they get into your office?
So the answer to that question is easy peasy by design. There is a website, williamsbu.edu/counseling. Students can just go to that website, hit a button, and it says request a meeting with Taylor or a consultation with Taylor. And they fill out a really brief form on there. And then I contact the student or faculty member or staff member or whoever's reaching out, and we just set up a time. It's that easy.
Like either like that day or the next day, or just
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just as soon as possible. So okay. Yeah, next available opening for sure. That works for the client and myself.
Where's your office at?
I am located in Student Affairs. I am kind of past Laquita's office. That sounds not private, but actually it is. So obviously I shut the door, and then I have a sign that says, please do not disturb, session in progress. And then I use a sound machine, and then I also have a private entrance through like this stairwell that's super like a hidden passageway that students can actually come up there if they don't want anyone to know that they're coming to counseling. If they want that super top secret and private, we can arrange for that too.
With you being licensed and following like state regulations and best practices and all that, just talk to me about the safety and the privacy that students have when they come see you.
Yeah, so unless it's like a crisis situation where like a student is in harm or considering harming someone else, everything that student tells me is super top secret. I won't share any information without the student's written permission. And again, there's confidentiality limitations that I go over with every client in our first meeting together. So we explore all of that in great detail, but outside of those limitations, everything is super top secret. including the fact that they're even in counseling.
So they fill that form out and nobody knows it except for you.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that's important, right? For the student. I guess that helps with a sense of safety for students.
Yeah. Well, I think on a small campus specifically, like you don't want to feel like everybody knows your business or like feel insecure, you know, for reaching out for help. It's a brave thing, I think, to reach out for help. And so I just want to honor that by protecting the student's privacy. That's important to me personally, but professionally, like I abide by a code of ethics that requires that.
Okay. So a student reaches out to you, they come see you. Tell me, what's that first meeting or consultation you called it? Well, what's that look like?
Yeah, super informal. I just sit across from the student and listen to their story, hear what's going on in their world right now and what led them to reach out for help. I work with the student to like help them explore the resources that they need the most. If that is ongoing psychotherapy, like I can provide that. But, you know, if we kind of get down to the nitty gritty of what they're needing and it's like they have a calling concern, you know, and a pastoral type of counseling might be more appropriate, I can direct them to our campus minister. Or if they're having like a lot of academic concerns, I can direct them towards the academic dean, you know, or just other community and on-campus resources that are available that they may not be cognizant of in that moment of distress. So just a way to support students, faculty, and staff is what I'm here for.
Gotcha. What about the specialty stuff? What do you love doing, or like what are you trained in that's kind of above and beyond the normal therapist skill sets?
Great question. So
I thought of it all on my own. So.
Yes, you're so humble too. It's one of the reasons I fell in love with you.
13 years ago today.
We got married the day I fell in love. What was the question?
Yeah, so like specialty skill sets, like you said you do psychotherapy,
yes.
Talk therapy, but I know you do more than that.
Yeah, so I'm really well versed in treating trauma-specific mental illnesses, or I would say depression and anxiety, you know, bipolar disorder. I have a lot of experience working with severely mentally ill clients. So that stuff doesn't freak me out. I know kind of how to navigate that, how to refer when it's out of my scope. But really, I love treating just whatever's in front of me, honestly. And I know that sounds super like cheesy, I guess would be the right word. But I see a whole person, not just one specific challenge, or don't see that person as the worst moment of their life, you know? So I would say my specialty is meeting people where they are and just coming alongside them. I'm specifically trained in trauma. I'm a trauma trained therapist. I use techniques like EMDR, which I have pretty extensive training in. And also I really love like CBT techniques. My foundation for all treatment is going to be super person-centered. I'm just going to meet you where you are. I believe that the client is the expert of their own life. I'm not there to like therapy juke anyone, but just to kind of come alongside them and kind of, I don't know, bring the lantern, so to speak, to kind of light the path and help them explore the next steps, you know, that are best for them.
Okay, so you used a bunch of letters, EMDR, for example. What is EMDR?
So EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. That is a mouthful. So let me just kind of explain what it is. So EMDR mimics REM sleep. Okay, so that's the stage of sleep whenever your brain naturally processes memories, emotions, experiences, all of that. And when you're asleep, your eyes underneath your eyelids will dart back and forth. And I know that that's crazy, but your EMDR mimics that while you're awake and alert and like totally in charge of your brain and your mind and your thoughts and all of that. And so it's not like this weird voodoo where I put you in a trance or
hypnotize you.
Yeah, hypnotize you. I don't do that. Like you are in control the whole time. But applying that bilateral stimulation, and most of the time it's eye movements back and forth.
So like look left, look right, look left, look right.
Well, I use equipment So it's following a light bar. It's the light on the bar. It goes back and forth
Okay.
really fast. And so you'll just follow the light. And so doing that, we focus attention to a specific memory, and the brain is like, oh, I know what to do now. Like, because it does that every night when you sleep, right? So it's like, oh, I know what we're doing. And so then it reprocesses that specific memory, and we integrate that memory so it loses its emotional charge. It changes how the memory is stored and how that memory affects you. So it's cool because it can make things like nightmares, flashbacks, panic attacks, like it can make all of those distressing symptoms that are consistent with PTSD. It can like turn the volume down on those or make them go away. It's really cool.
That sounds cool. And people can do that in your office?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's super cool. And I get really geeked out whenever I talk about it. Because you see, like, when they come back for the next session, like, they report change, like they report less impairment. And I don't know, it's just cool to have a skill set in my tool belt that is so effective. That's not the only tool that I use. But
absolutely not. Yeah. That's a unique one though.
Mm-hmm.
And is this a new technique?
I think it's been around since like the 80s.
I've never seen this in a movie though.
Right.
Probably, right? Like this is kind of a rare form of treatment.
I don't know. I don't know that it's rare. I don't know how to speak to that necessarily, but it is one of 2 premier treatments that most doctors recommend to treat trauma.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question. You mentioned that you went to school here, which means you were taught through a Christian worldview. Then you went to graduate school at a Baptist seminary. So Christian worldview and all your classes there too, I'm assuming. But then you're also a licensed therapist in the state of Arkansas.
Yes.
How do you navigate between the 2 different paths? Are they 2 different paths? Is it one big path? Do you have what do your approaches look like when it comes to your faith and counseling?
Yeah, so great question, actually. Well, it's all one big path, I would say. I don't kind of show up and put my Christian hat on and then show up and put my therapy hat. Like, I'm just me wherever I go. That being said, I'm going to meet the client sitting in front of me wherever they are in that moment. And if they are resistant to talking about spiritual things, I am never going to beat anyone over the head with the Bible. Like, I'm very open, and I always have been, about, my faith and why that is important for my mental health. And I'm never going to hide that. I'm never going to be secretive about that. So that's just me. And when you're in counseling, you get me, if you choose to work with me. As far as how faith and counseling kind of intersect, well, I think they do, a lot, actually, because God created all emotions. All emotions serve a purpose, and they were given to us by design from our Creator. And so I love to help people understand that emotions aren't positive and negative. Sometimes they might feel yucky, but it's not like a positive negative. All emotions are good and serve a purpose, and they're given to us from our Creator. So that's kind of, I definitely have that Christian worldview. I think too, in seminary, this was actually really helpful to kind of explore this and tease this out a little bit. But man, Jesus was the perfect counselor, that's one of the titles in Isaiah, right? Mm-hmm. Wonderful counselor. When I think of people like the woman at the well, or the woman caught in adultery, he sees the whole person, not just one part of them. He sees the whole person, and he sits with people in their pit of distress or despair. And I think I mentioned earlier, I really operate from a person-centered framework. And that really is the vision in my mind when I say that, of just sitting with people where they are and offering them hope, maybe hope for change, teaching them a skill to help them regulate emotionally better, connecting them with other resources that might provide more attuned level of care. That really is kind of my heart, and my vision is to be like Jesus and in the counseling room. And even though, like, especially in the clinic setting, I may never talk about Jesus in a session with someone, but that doesn't mean that they can't experience the person and the work of Jesus like flowing out of me. And I remember a specific class in seminary talked about the power of prayer. And like, even if you never are able to share Jesus with a person, like, you can pray for that person and their situation in a way that nobody else can, because nobody else maybe knows those details. And so the power of prayer is not nothing. And I believe that I bring the presence of Jesus, with me wherever I go, because he lives in me. And that brings a sense of calm and peace that I don't possess on my own, but that definitely passes understanding. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. So one final question, and just so I'm clear, if people want to get set up for services with you or like schedule that first consultation, what's that very first step look like? So
I don't have like a receptionist or anything like that. So really, like, the website is going to be super user friendly, and it's going to be a client's best friend. So, or a prospective client's best friend for getting set up for services. So you just go to williamsbu.edu/counseling. I'm clicking on it right now. It takes you to a counseling page that says schedule your consultation today. And whenever you click that, it says fill in your name, your email, and your phone number. That's it. It's all you got to do to get set up for services. And then I will email you or call you with the information that you provide and just say, hey, I got your email and see that you're interested in sitting down with me for a little bit. What time works best for you? And then we make it happen.
That sounds easy enough. Thank you for joining us today. Glad to have you as a coworker on campus. And I think that we will all benefit from your presence here greatly. Thanks again. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm super honored to be here, and thanks for hosting me on your podcast today.